Oh, you do whatever you want. So she wanted me to like, I was like, I'm not prepared at all.
You ready?
Just hit take off these whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Hey, welcome back to day 2 of our roller session, our virtual wheelchair track camp 2020. I'm Coach Adam, and we are in our indoor roller room at the Fairhope Training Site facility at the University of Illinois today. And today's featured athlete is working out with everybody at home. It's Brian Siemann. Brian is a longtime athlete here at the University of Illinois. Outstanding young man, a mentor for all the young athletes. Look up to him. He is a multi-time Paralympian, 2-time Paralympian, and been on numerous world championship meets, member of the U.S. national team, and has finished 4th in the world in 800 meters. And narrowly missed the medal, and that's when the change in 2021. Get up on that medicine. So we're really fortunate to have him here to work out with everybody at home. And again, as we go through the workout, shoot your questions my way. I have a few questions that were left over that I'm going to try to address either this session or the following session at 10. But anyway, let's get rolling because last time we ran out of time, so we don't want to do that today. So Brian, go ahead and start warming up, and while he's doing that, I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to work on today. So today's workout, and I think it's been posted online, make it a little bit easier for you at home to have a sense of what we're going to do. We're going to work on some extended efforts today, and not too long, 2 minutes and 3 minutes, but trying to train the ability to tolerate higher velocities over extended periods of time. So that's speed endurance, and that's a key variable that we need to train in order to be successful. So today's workout, we're going to do 4 minutes at 60% RPE. RPE, again, is rate of perceived exertion. That's just how you feel, your sense of effort. We'll do 4 minutes at 60%, 2 minutes at 70%, a minute up at 80%, just a gradual progression in intensity. And then follow that with an easy jog for a minute. And then we'll go into our accelerations. And again, what we're trying to do is open up that system, get it prepared and ready for the harder work to come. Accelerations are going to be 4 by 15 second accel with 45 seconds recovery, just again, a progressively increasing effort across each of those accelerations. Then we'll take a little bit more time, 2 minutes of the jog, and then we'll get our max speed. And from that, we will calculate our speed intensity zones for the day, which is we're just going to find 85% of that as a reference point for our extended speed endurance intervals. After that max speed, we'll get collected, and then we'll start our workout, which is going to be 3 by 2 minutes, trying our best to hold that 85% of your warm-up max speed, post-warm-up max speed. If you don't have speed on your chair, on your roller, we'll pair that to 90% RPE. So not at 100% effort level, but very, very demanding, very difficult. So it would be a pace you might hold in an 800 meters, 1500 meters without the finishing kick. We're going to take 90 seconds in between each of those 2 minute intervals. And then we're going to finish, we're actually going to move then into a 5 minute block, and we're going to go into some variation in speed. So we're going to jump from 80% of velocity max speed to 70% every 30 seconds. So we're going to split the 30. And of course, I'll go over this again as we go through. And we'll do 30 seconds at 80% of your max speed, and then jump back down to 70%. That'd be 90% RPE or 70% RPE every 30 seconds. We're going to do a 3 minute easy jog, and then we're going to move into our last little block, which is 3 minutes at 85% of your max speed, and again at 90% RPE. So that 3 minute is really just a cap to the rest of the workout, and to train into those zones where maybe at the end of the race you'll be carrying a little bit more fatigue. We still want to be able to coordinate on the ring and apply force effectively and be efficient. And so we use the body of the workout to prep us and then leverage where we're at in terms of fatigue to advantage that last portion of the session to work those elements. Because we all know that at the end of a race, we tend to be a little less fresh. It becomes a little bit harder to coordinate that hand and find the hand ring and to apply force in a way that's meaningful and effective. So we train that, and we can use sessions like this in order to prepare ourselves for the race. And that's what we want to do. We want to model and translate the work that we do during the training sessions so that we can apply that toward the races. So we're finishing up here now, 4 minutes. Now we got 2 minutes. Brian's going to bring up his intensity just a touch, up to about 70% RPE, and gradually build that. He should be getting a little sweat going, maybe. Shouldn't be overly difficult, but enough to be focused. Right? When you get in that 70% RPE, it should be still very comfortable, but I call it a comfortable focus, right? It's not necessarily a pace where you can
talk about the Netflix show you watched last night or whatever other important things you need to discuss with your teammates. This should be now a point where you're focused in on the session, starting to think about what you're going to accomplish for the day, because it really is a critical point. And in each training session, you should have an intention of the effort. So you should understand what it is you're working toward for that session and what the aim is, and then applying yourself with the appropriate intention of effort. If not, there's some value lost in each session, and so we want to take the warm up to focus, key in on what those goals are for the day, and so hopefully if you're working with a coach or your parent or someone that they or if you yourself are creating your sessions, you do have a sense of each day of, okay, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. Right? That's why we're doing. This is how it's going to then be utilized for race specific performance and ability. Okay, what do we got? We got 20 seconds. Then we're going to go up to a minute, 80% RPE. So we'll pull up that pace, and now we should really be feeling pretty doggone good. Opening up those arms, chest, and we're going in 5 seconds here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and one more minute here. So we can pick it up, 80% RPE. See Brian's picking up that cadence a little bit, getting those speed rolling. Opening up that chest. Some of the points that I discussed, if you were in my second session on Monday with biomechanics, you can see that he's increasing that hand separation between his peak lift and stretch, and then that initial point of contact where he's loading the hand in the hand ring. That looks good, and just letting that wheel dictate his stroke per minute and his sequential stroke pattern. So Brian's doing, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing a 20 on, 1 off, sometimes 5 on, 1 off, whatever's comfortable. Just get into a natural rhythm and flow. And we got 5 seconds. Then we're just going to ease off on the throttle a little bit here, Brian. 3, 2, and 1. Good, good, good. Okay, so keep those arms moving. If you need to sit up for a minute and shake it out, good drink of water, whatever the case, that's okay. But as best you can, just keep those arms spinning a little bit. And then we're going to move into our accelerations. We got 4 by 15 second accel and 45-second jog. And these are all rolling accelerations. On Friday, during our workout, we're going to do some standing start accelerations because that will then better fit and integrate in with the session Friday. But today we're just doing some rolling accels. We'll proceed through. So the first 15-second accel isn't necessarily going to be at 100%, but by the time we get to the fourth one, it should be pretty close to a race pace effort. So we got 15 seconds. We'll move into that first 15-second accel. Brian's looking good, looking sharp, and I'm sure at home you are as well. So we got 5 seconds, and 3, and 2, and 1, and now Brian's going. 15, picking up that hand speed, trying to find that ring. Just moving up into that zone, not fully at 100% yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We got 3 seconds left. 2, 1, and back off. There you go. There you go. Keep spinning that wheel nice and easy. Nice and easy. Shake it out if you need to. Very nice. Very nice. Got a full 30 seconds left, so keep those arms going. We got any questions yet? Let me know when they pop through here. And I'll try to remember the ones I was going to answer. Okay, here we go. 15 seconds, Brian. We got our next 15-second accel. And we're going here in 5 seconds. And 3, and 2, and 1, and okay, back up. A little bit harder than the first one. Not 100% yet, but a little bit harder. If you miss a stroke here or there, that's okay. That's what these accel warm-ups are for. We're going 3, 2, and 1, and back off. Back into a nice, easy pace, nice jog effort. Very good, very good. Brian's doing a good job of moderating that force application during his stroke, and when he's accelerating too, he's trying to take advantage of the opportunity to pick up that hand speed and try to get up to speed as quickly as possible. So that's another opportunity in these accelerations, and you only have 15 seconds. So you want to try to take advantage of those first 4 to 5 seconds to get those hands moving. So we got 3 and 2 and 1 and go. Very good. Nice job, looking good. We've got 10 seconds left in this Excel. Very good, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, okay, back off. Very nice, one more of these, according to my math. Okay, we'll grab it after this, when he's done with this one. We got a question, good. So one more Excel, this next one should be near race pace, so we should be really applying the pressure to the gas here and trying to get moving. So you'll see, I think what we'll notice is that as Brian increases his stroke per minute rate, when I give him a go, he'll very much continue that high stroke effort throughout the 15 seconds. So he won't necessarily allow that wheel to roll too much because he's trying to accelerate through the duration of that effort. All right, we're going, and good job, he's on it. There we go. We got 10 seconds. So Brian's really keying in, locking in on that ring, driving the bottom. He's got 5 seconds. Looking good. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. All right, we're going to take 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Just stand up, shake it out a little bit. When you're ready, get back on the ring and jog real easy. Thankfully, Brian was paying attention to his time because I was not. I was talking on and not focused. So thank you, Brian. But hopefully, to my point, hopefully you noticed the variation in the way he was striking the ring, the rate of movement of the hands, the way the hand moved across the ring. And the other point, which may or may not be very easy to see, is that as Brian progressively increased his velocity, the point of contact on the ring progressively got later. So those first few strokes, he's making contact at about 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. As the velocity increases, the curve, the way that the line of attack of the hand during acceleration back to contact changed too. And so it got progressively later, went to 2 to 2:30. And then he was moving off the back of the ring a little bit later too. So that contact angle changed, and that's just a natural in the way that it should. Okay, what was the question?
They were asking, what is this app and how do you measure the power?
Great. So this app is the standard app that you would get off of Wahoo. It's a Wahoo app. Anybody can download it. It's free. We utilize that because we use their hardware, their trainer, the kicker. So we've married that to our heavy drum roller so that we can provide variable load resistance. But then we also get all of our data. So we get speed and we get power and time and distance, all those. The only metric that we don't get is cadence for obvious reasons. But watts are all read via the Wahoo kicker trainer. Okay, I lost track of time. We'll take about 90 seconds left, and then we'll grab our max speed. Make sure you guys are ready for that. Yep, so that's it. So we just use whatever the factory setting is for watts. And to be quite honest with you, we don't utilize watts as a reference point during our training sessions to gauge intensity and performance. Not that there isn't value to doing so, there is. And I'm not saying that we won't at some point, but what we do use is velocity. And then we also use load. So we can apply various loads to the roller. And that's how we'll triangulate with RPE, velocity, and load resistance. We use those 3 points to guide our intensity and to measure our performance during each training session. Okay, So in 30 seconds, Brian's he's gonna work in, he's gonna get a max speed effort, and then based on that, we'll just do a quick calculation and so we can understand and what his intensities will be for today. So 20 seconds, you can just go ahead and use whatever strategy you need to use to hit your max velocity. This will cap our warm-up. All right, you're on in 10 seconds. Great question, by the way. All good questions. All good questions. 5 seconds. All right, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start building in. Figure out what you want to do for your speed. All right, that's good. So we'll go 31.3. Yep, 31.3. All right, so we're just going to take a couple minutes. You guys get a drink of water at home, let those arms shake out, and then we'll start our first block of effort. So 31.3 was Brian's max, and if you were here Monday, I told you that our rollers aren't they're not calibrated, so that's faster than what Brian would hit on the road. I know he wants me to tell you, but that's his normal traveling speed. But anyways, we're not conducting research in our training facility, so we have consistent inaccuracy. So even roller, it is consistent roller to roller true. Each of our rollers is outfitted with a variable load resistance trainer, so each of them have a Wahoo kicker attached, and the velocities performance roller to roller is very consistent. So the athlete doesn't necessarily have to train on the same roller every day, and to gauge and get a sense of how they're moving along their performance curve. So that is a very, very nice resource that we have. Okay, we're going to take about another minute, and then we'll get started with our first block. And that's going to be our 3 by 2 minutes, and it's going to be 85% of that velocity of max speed. For Brian, it's going to be around 26 miles an hour, so plus or minus 1 mile an hour. Or it's going to be about 90% RPE. You may go a little bit above that on these effort levels, and that's okay. That's okay. Again, with this, with calculating velocity max speed, you may need to make adjustments. This is a general guiding principle that we use and point, but depending on your max speed and your fitness level, you may need to adjust that up and down. That's why I like to pair that with RPE too. So if I give a velocity max speed of 75%, for instance, and the RPE should be about 80%, but if that's really difficult, and let's say Brian was up at 90 plus RPE, then we're going to back off on the speed. And you can use heart rate too. Brian doesn't use that today, but that's another reference point that you can use. So if your heart rate's up at over 92% of max, and you're supposed to be down in the 75%, then we're going to back off on the speed. We're going to back off on the speed. Okay. Let's go. We're going to start in 20 seconds, so your first 2 minutes. So Brian's going to go 26 miles an hour, and he's going to try to hold that. So 15 seconds. So he should get if he's not sweating already, and I can't see because I'm not very close to him. We're going to go in 5 seconds. He'll be getting the sweat going here pretty soon. All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, first 2 minute block here. He's going to get up to speed, and then he's just going to hold that as best he can. Trying to find a nice level of comfort, as comfortable as that can be in that zone. And that's the idea too, is much of our training comes back into trying to create more efficiency between the hand and the hand ring. How can you apply force effectively, and what is your skill aptitude? And that's really, that's the determining characteristic of the key determinant for success in our sport is skill aptitude, and how well can you translate the raw materials of your strength and your fitness into moving that wheel and moving that chair forward. I know it sounds pretty simple, and it is to that degree, but but it's not. It's not. The complexity of the stroke really, I think we got 1 minute down. Nice job, Brian. Keep it up. I think that to me, and I'm biased, but that's the beauty of our sport is that the stroke is elegant. It's an art form, and you don't necessarily have to be, well, you can be the strongest and the most fit, but that doesn't make you the fastest. Typically, the athlete that has the highest level of skill aptitude is the one that wins. Good job, Brian. He's up at right in the zone where he needs to be. So 20, he's got 30 seconds left, and then we'll take our first rest. Nice work. So Brian settled into about a 5-stroke on, 1-stroke off sequence, and that's what's comfortable for him. And we got 15 seconds here, and then we'll take 90 seconds rest. 10 seconds left. Okay, here we go. Keep it up. Nice job. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, 90 seconds. Good. Good. So Brian, I don't know if his data was showing, but his speeds were off a little bit. They were below that 85%, but that's okay because he paired his RP appropriately. So despite it was a little bit slower, he's adjusting accordingly, and that's the intent of the effort. Brian is also transitioning into a different set of gloves, so I'm doing that for his ego too. But we're moving him into a finger thumb style of gloves. So he's now in the process of understanding where the hand needs to be on the rein to effectively apply force with a different groove. He's not used to that. So we're in a block where we can make these. We can take a step backward because we know ultimately it's going to push him 3 steps forward and progress. It's going to raise his ceiling and capacity. Okay, 20 seconds, and we got number 2. Everybody, you're looking good. I'm sure everybody at home is looking good. We're having fun. All right, 10 seconds. Get our next block in. Same thing. We'll see. Could be the case as his first one, he was shaking the cobwebs off. His velocity may be a little higher. Ready, go. 2 minutes. By the way, Brian. So one point I wanted to make on his max speed effort, if you don't have, I highly recommend you have some point of feedback when you're indoors training. I mean, outdoors training as well, but certainly on the roller. And just a simple, cheap, they're not that expensive, but it's a computer to give you velocity as a reference point. I think that's really critical. We got 30 seconds done. And it's a great constraint to provide you that feedback. And then as you aggregate all that data, you'll get an understanding of where you're at in your performance curve and how you're improving. And that's critical. That's critical. So on the max speed effort, one thing I noticed with novice younger athletes is they got 1 minute down. Keep it up. They'll tend to get to their max speed, but then try to keep moving up on velocity. There's a point where you just know that there's nothing left in the tank. And as a reference point, typically that's about 28 to 32 strokes on average. That's generally how many strokes people will take to get to their max speed. That varies, of course, and I always qualify. It's going to vary per athlete, but that's just a general rule of thumb. About 28 to 32 strokes is what I've seen through the years that athletes use. All right, we're under 30 seconds left. Actually, Brian's second effort is much faster than his first. We got another 3 miles an hour. He's got 15 seconds left. So he's finding some different opportunities there in that stroke to glean some speed out of the ring, and that's what we want. He's got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, good. Nice, rest, 90 seconds. 90 seconds, great job. Yes, one more question, good. Okay, great, shoot him.
When you use the percentage of your max speed,
Yep.
Would you use that velocity for a 30-second interval all the way up to an 8-minute effort?
Yes, you would. So the percentage of velocity and max speed would be the same. You just may not, it just depends on what the intention of that interval block is, right? So, but I wouldn't adjust the speed, rather, all right, I'm gonna lose track of time. We have 45 seconds. Yes, so I hope I'm answering that correctly. Yes, so we will, but if it is an 8-minute block and the intensity needs to be lower, then you would go down to 70%. Generally, we wouldn't necessarily do a 10-minute block at 85+% max speed. That likely that 85+% of max speed would be 2 minutes or less, and maybe a 3-minute, because that's a pretty high intensity. That's probably near race pace. That'd be an 800-meter pace of an effort. So, okay, we got less than 15 seconds. This is our last one. That's our last one. So 10 seconds left, and I'll try to finish answering that question. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yeah. So I'll try to answer that one more time, and hopefully I'll probably be answering the same way. But yes. So when you get your max speed for the day, and then you're calculating those percentages, the idea is that will then appropriately set your intensity for the duration of the work effort for that day's session. So you wouldn't adjust speed, rather you'd adjust the duration of effort in order to reach the intended goals of the day. If that doesn't answer your question, just send it again, and I'll try to do a better job. Okay, nice. We're coming up, we just got 45 seconds done, and Ryan's even going quicker on this one. Nice, nice, nice. All right, we got 1 minute down and 1 minute left. And we're gonna get another 90 seconds rest. Keep it up, man, and everybody at home. Nice work, nice work. Coming up on 45 seconds here left in this effort. And this is your last one of this these 2 minute blocks. Good job, good job. Keep it up. So, nice. 30 seconds left. So, again, the intention of this workout today, and what we're trying to highlight and feature, is training the ability to tolerate high levels of that, high percentage of that max velocity over extended periods of time. All right, we're almost done with this one. We got 5 seconds. I can see the sweat puddle from all the way across the room, actually. And you're done. And that's a long ways away. So nice work. Very, very good effort. So we're just going to take about 90 seconds jog, and we're going to move into our next block, which is going to be a 5 minute. It's going to be a little bit longer. We're going to lower the peak intensity zones a little bit, but we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to jump up and down. We're going to go 30 seconds at 80% of max speed, 30 seconds at 70%. So back and forth. So your baseline, you never go slower than 70%, and you never go higher than 80%. So it's just back and forth, up and down. We got less than a minute left. So Brian, let's have you key on. I'm going to adjust those a little bit. Let's go 20. Let's go 22 for your 80, and let's go 19 for your 70. So 20, and so and we'll see how that works. So we got 30 seconds left. So while he's going, I'll answer the second question. So less than 30 seconds. So the intention of this session, we're throwing in a little bit of a variation insofar as rather than being a steady continuous block as we just did, now we're going to make some adjustments and work on this concept of speed fluctuation and speed variability, because that is a characteristic of our sport. Is that okay? Ready, go. So we're doing 5 minutes. We're going 30 seconds. Brian's going to hold 22 for 30 seconds. Hold your desired pace at home, and then we're going to drop down. So it should feel a little bit easier than what you just than the effort level that you were just at for the 2-minuters. The idea is that there'll be some accumulation of fatigue. So by the end of the 5 minutes, we should feel a little bit hard. It should feel a little bit more difficult. Should feel a little more difficult. So now Brian's dropped it back down to his 19, and then we'll just keep bouncing up and down, going back and forth. So a couple of reasons why we do this, and I was just moving into that, is that very nice. So he's almost done here with his, down to his 70. He's going to bounce back up to his 80 here in a second. And this is his 2nd minute. So one of the reasons we do that is to try to model the training to translate to competition. And wheelchair racing is a sport of speed variation. So a lot of acceleration and fluctuation in speed off of baseline intensity. And in order to be prepared and to best prepare yourself to match the demands of the competition, you need to train that. So we do that. And that is via these fluctuations in velocity. So the other thing I really like about it is it creates a demand on your central nervous system. Oftentimes in just a steady 5-minute block, you can kind of get into a nice rhythm and kind of zone out, and which there's a time and place for that. But these different fluctuations in speed force you to key back in on what you're doing. So it's a way of cueing yourself back into the intention of the moment, which is to find efficiencies, find ways to be productive in the way you're applying force in a way that conserves your energy. And if you tuned in on Monday, one of the points I made with Aaron is that with this type of training, which we call a floor to ceiling approach, we're just trying to find efficiencies in the stroke so that Brian can go faster with less effort. And that's what we want to try to do, so that he can hold those attacks, those surges, and those bridges in the back of his pocket, because he has a finite amount of those available to him. And so we want to be able to preserve those for when he really needs it. And this type of floor to ceiling approach, creating economy and efficiency, is really critical. We're coming up on our last minute here, if my math is correct. Brian can correct me if I'm not right. But we also do what's called a ceiling to floor approach, and that's primarily what we use, and that's where we're training max velocity, and then we're moving off of that, right? So we're trying to push the ceiling up as high as we can, with the idea that at the same time we're going to pull up everything else with it. So we train speed endurance via training maximal velocity, and everything in our training system orbits around max velocity, which is in effect we're training skill aptitude and understanding how to interface the hand with the hand ring, glove with the hand ring, and just to make that wheel rotate more quickly and that chair move forward a lot more quickly. Okay, is this our last minute?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was off by a minute. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. So we're on, this is our last 30 at 80, and then we're going to drop down to 30. And then we got a nice long recovery jog before our last little block, which should be a nice little cap, a nice little cherry on top of the protein shake. Very good. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Very good. And I like to change. So oftentimes what we'll do, and oftentimes what we just tend to fall into this habit of, we're going to start with an easier effort and finish with a hard effort, whether we're on the track or on the road. But I like to swap that occasionally. So we're opening with a hard effort, finishing with an easy effort, and then really focusing on being efficient at that lower velocity, conserving that energy, moving that chair at a lower velocity too. Okay, we got 3 minutes in jogging, and hopefully that one felt a little bit easier than the 2-minute effort. Would you say that's the case, Brian? Brian's nodding his head yes.
Yes.
That's good. So now we're gonna get a nice little jog here, and then we're gonna cap it with a really hard effort to finish off. And it's 3 minutes at 85% of max speed. And generally, I don't go beyond 3 minutes at that effort level. I typically find that things begin to degrade a little bit. So if I want to achieve that intensity over a longer block, then typically we're fluctuating those intensity zones. That's not always the case. We may do a really acute high intensity effort that will have an athlete at that velocity, maybe a 10K time trial. But it is very, very difficult to hold that speed over an extended period of time. If you have a correlative max velocity that puts you in the appropriate zone. Okay, we got just under 2 minutes. What was that second question?
We have 2 questions.
Okay, all right, I'll try to not be so long-winded.
First question is, do you ever use 100% sprint?
Yes, I do. We do all-out sprints. Yep, absolutely. We do a lot of that. Yep, we do at least in any given workout, any given week. We have, all of our workouts are typically dedicated with speed at its center, but there is generally at least one workout a week where that is all that we do is we just train velocity. It's a low volume day, and we're just targeting high skill, high velocity. Okay.
Second question is, do you get the max speed from just one day training, or do you make it a test for the whole week?
Okay, so good question. So when we gauge max speed, we get that every single day. And what that allows me to do is gauge athlete preparedness for that day's session, because as you know, you don't always feel as fresh on Wednesday as you did on Monday or Tuesday. So we really want to try to use a sniper approach and calibrate the day's training intensity to how the athlete's able to perform. So that's why we use, on a daily basis, we use max speed, and that's on the roller, and which allows us a little bit more control. Okay, what do we got left on? We got another minute? I forgot, to be honest. Let's take another minute, because we got time. Right? We got 7 minutes to finish this workout. Plenty of time. All right, let's take another minute. We got another question? Okay.
Do you do most speed workouts on the roller?
Most speed workouts we do not do on the roller, unless we're indoor, in our indoor season. For us in the wintertime, then obviously all the training is on rollers. Nope, we do it outside. We got 40 seconds. We will occasionally, though, I will say that there are certain times a year that if I feel like we're not achieving what I want to achieve with the max speed outdoors, we may come in and offload the roller and put the athletes in a really high speed environment. 20 seconds for your last minute. But generally what I try to do is put the athletes in a high speed environment outdoors, whether that's tailwind, downhill, behind a bike, behind another chair, just trying to put them in a space in which it's easier for them to train those high velocities. All right, we're going and ready and go. Okay, last one. You're going to go back up to that same speed you were at for those 2-minuters. We're just going to pull it out. It's just 1 3-minute block. 1 3-minute block. So this is a good way to, now we're training some points just based on the body of work that's already been completed during the workout. We can advantage that now and create effort and intensity and learning patterns that will translate pretty effectively to the race. And so Brian's doing a really good job now of figuring out how to get that wheel to rotate and to roll at that velocity while conserving as much energy as he can. And that's our goal. That's our goal. All right. Nice job. Keep it up, Brian. Good work. 30 seconds done. A minute done. Thank you. Just getting you a little bit extra time. All right. Here we go. Keep it up. I got to focus on the time and not talk. Okay, almost there. We got 90 seconds done in 5 seconds. Keep it up, Brian. Nice job on that effort. We got 90 seconds left, and we're done. There any more questions coming through, Matt? Okay, good. Now I won't lose track of time. All right, so we got coming up on the last minute here. Keep that effort level high, intensity high, focus. Understand what you're doing and what your intention is. That's key. That's critical. And just about, here we go. We got 1 minute left. This is it. This is it for the day. And then you can ease off on the throttle a little bit. Good job, Brian. Nice work. Good job. Keep that speed where it needs to be. Don't go too hard. 40 seconds left. We have to show discipline to stay in our prescribed training intensities. And we got 30 seconds left. A good rule of thumb is you can train hard some of the time, or you can train hard none of the time. Meaning, if you try to go to the well every single day, you just can't do it. Your performance will degrade, and you'll ultimately stop that improvement level. Okay, we're almost done. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. All right. It's perfect because we got 3 minutes cool down and we got 3 minutes left in this session. I'll say that was timed perfectly by Brian. Nice work. And nice work at home too. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that session. And as I said, this is a workout in which we would train speed endurance. So I really like using a 2-minute block on the roller and then 800 meters on the track. We do a lot of training in that 800 meter level distance, and you can accomplish a lot. You can train 5,000 meter, 1,500 meter value points in an 800 meter. You can also train a 400 meter value points in an 800 meter. And if I think about the 1,500 and 5,000, we'll do days where we're just training race model tactical efforts in which all we're trying to work on is finishing position and finishing kick. And we just do it in 800s. Because then we can situate athletes in a way that's comparable to what they'll experience in a 1,500 and a 5,000 in the last lap. So the 800 is a distance that I really think has a lot of value. But also on we got about a minute left. So I'll leave it at that. I think the 800 is a really nice distance to train and accomplish a lot of different things. Okay, so how much time do we got before we go off? 30 seconds? Or whenever I want to say go. Okay. All right. Well, I'd say that is a great workout, and appreciate everybody joining us. We'll be back on Friday, and Daniel Romanchuk will be our featured athlete. Look forward to everybody then. Tomorrow we'll be in the weight room with Ian Huang, another of our athletes, for another strength session. And for those of you that are joining me at 11 today, and you can always sign up if you haven't signed up. I think you can just register probably a minute before. We're going to go over nutrition. So we're really looking forward to that. That's a huge part of it. Huge part of the full 360 degrees of performance. So we'll have Susanna Scrone. So that'll start in 15 minutes at 11. And I will hope to see anyone else and more people then. Appreciate your time. Look forward to connecting again. Thank you.